Hi, welcome back to the World Go channel. I'm your host and self-appointed Go evangelist, James Story. Today's lesson is 4.7.1. It's in the Life and Death of Small Groups series. We're going to look at what's called one-point notchers. And the reason they're called notchers is because they have this little notch in them right here and right here. Notice if they didn't have this, if we're this, here's 7 long, it'll be alive and dead according to Sente, as we've seen in other lessons, right? This would be alive, white come around the corner, black blocks, and now black has a straight 4 and can play this move or this move for life. However, with the notcher, so we're going to see in a moment, this 7 long notcher, one point notcher is alive. But let's look at the 4 long first. The 4 is rather easy to see that no matter where black plays, here or here, trying to make 2 eyes, black plays one, white can play the other. So now this black group is dead as it stands. If black plays this one, then this is the Miai move for white. Miai is 2 or more ways to do the same thing. In other words, in this case, kill the group, and white plays there. Even if black comes down to here, you can see white is on the vital point of the bent 3, and so black has only 1 eye, and black is dead as it stands. So black shouldn't shouldn't help white. Don't help your opponent. So black shouldn't play either of these because they're going to end up with a dead group. Black should leave this alone, and if a co-fight develops and white takes the co, black can then use this dead shape as a co-threat. Black can play here, for example, and now if white fills the co, black can come down and turn this into a live shape with 2 eyes, with the only caveat, the only warning, that white has then a co-threat of throwing this in. And if black doesn't take, white doesn't want to take this because that creates a co-fight that black could then take and win, perhaps. White would play there, and now the group would just be dead. However, if black plays one of these, the here, the 2 Miai points, then, and white decides to play there and kill that group, then black can retake the ko. This is just a 1-point ko, kind of meaningless, but this example here, but it gives an example of what might happen to a ko threat. This group over here is 7 long. We're going to look at 5 and 6 in another lesson, the 5 and 6 long 1-point notchers in another lesson, because they're a little more complex and they are uncertain. They're alive and dead according to Sente, and determining whether or not, and whether they're alive or not, whether they are on the side or in the corner. But the 7 lines, 7 or longer, is going to be alive. So we have 1, 2, 3, we count the notch, 4, 5, 6, 7 long. If it's black's turn, they're unconditionally alive. They can play this move, which your eye should have gone to right away, but they can also play one of these feet over here. Okay, we'll show you there's just a little bit difference, but first let's look at what white might do. White would also want to play right there, wouldn't they? Okay, now black doesn't want to do this because then black is dead, aren't they? They have a straight 3 and white's already on the vital point of the straight 3. So what black does is they descend and make one of these feet down here or down over here. Whoops, not there, here. And their threat then is to play here and turn this into an eye and have this area over here for another eye. So whether they play this side or this side, and this side would then threaten to play black there, make an eye here and an eye here, and be unconditionally alive. White then wants to take that possibility away from them. So now black can't make an extra eye over here. If black descends this way, then white, then their threat is to play there to make an eye here and an eye here. White doesn't want that either, and white would play this way. Okay. Now you can see that black only has 1 eye, but it's not. They're not dead because they're going to get Seki out of this. If black does not have both of these shoulders, is in this case here, they have to play this point here. All right. If they don't, and white gets to there, then white can Atari from either side, capture and kill. All right, so if black doesn't have both of these shoulders, black has to play here. Now we notice that even if white gets to here and here, white can't play either of these moves because it creates a live shape, straight 4. Black will take, and then black will have 2 points for Mii. All right. The only caveat in this is that once white gets to here and here, they're here, right, and then they get to here and here, they can throw in as a co-threat. Maybe it's like a super duper big ko and white has to have it. So they say, okay, you can turn this alive shape back into a live shape with points. So in that case, then we get 8 points out of this, wouldn't we? Black would get 4 for the captured stones and 4 for underneath here. So whatever co-threat white had would have to be bigger than 8 points. We'll go back here again. Here, here, here. Back to the original. If white plays here, black comes down one side or the other. White makes sure that black doesn't get 2 eyes out of that. Make another eye. Black plays here. Once again, if black doesn't have these 2 shoulders, white has to play here. However, if black does have these 2 shoulders, black doesn't have to play there because they're connected. And when white plays here, it just doesn't hurt black at all. Even if white comes to here and to here, black is still alive in Seki. White can use one of these moves as a co-threat. Black would take. Notice this is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 captured stones plus 5 points underneath. So that's a 10-point co-threat. So whatever ko that other co-fight that's going on, white should make sure that that's worth at least 10 points before they decide to turn this black group that's alive in Seki into a group that's just alive. Go through it here once again. Once again, if black doesn't have both of these shoulders, black needs to play this. Notice that this black group, it's not unconditionally alive, but it is alive. It's alive in Seki, and it can still exude out here, try to escape, and damage white's territory. So white might want to block on one side or the other to make sure that black doesn't just keep escaping and damage white's territory. It doesn't make more territory for black, but it does decrease white's territory, which, you know, is the same thing. Notice also that if you had something like this, and black could go, well, I know this group is dead because even if I get here, you know, it doesn't do anything. Even if I get here and get to come down, white can then play there. Okay, that doesn't do anything. But notice if it were like this group is dead as it stands. But if it's black gets to escape out this way, then they might get to reconnect to a dead group and make that dead group part of this live group over here. It doesn't have to be this this group that we're looking at over here. It could just kind of be any stones. Let's say black's just got a couple stones over here, and all the rest of the territory is white. Something like this, you know, black has no chance to make life over here unless they can connect over it to there, to a live group. So when you get to this point here, and black plays this, white has to think about keeping black from escaping. It may be there's just no points over here or here that are worth fighting for. It may be that they're so small that it's nothing that white has to worry about right now. But at some point, white or black will play one of these moves towards, if not immediately, then towards the end of the game. Anyway, that's lesson 4.7.1 in the series, The Life and Death of Small Groups. We're looking at 1 point notchers of 7 long and 4 long. In the next group, 4, once again, 4 is dead as it stands, good for a co-threat. 7 long is alive, unconditionally alive in Sente, and if black doesn't have Sente, then it's just it'll be alive, but in Seki. Thanks for watching the World Go channel. We'll see you next time. Goodbye.